What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Let's play Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex Part 1. This is the first Crash game not to be made on the PlayStation 1. This is the first cross-platform Crash Bandicoot game. This is the first Crash game to be
Universal Interactive Studios production.
Actually, the last one to be made by Universal Interactive Studios.
Developed by Traveler's Tales.
The only one to be made by Traveler's Tales as well.
Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex.
So as you can see here, it takes a lot of assets from. Oh crap! There we go. It takes a lot of assets from the what do you call it? Crash 2 and 3, really. And this is for something that naming it Wom. Wom. There we go. That's what I meant. Wombat. And I'll point that out later why that is important, why you need to name it that. But anyway, yeah, this is the first and last of a couple things for the Crash series. This is the first main series title in quite a while.
Imbeciles, fools, nincompoops. Can't you idiots do anything right? According to this, your track record for spreading evil is pathetic. Ooga ooga, it's not our fault that Richard Bandicoot is to blame. I will not let anything stand in the way of evil, especially not a brainless orange marsupial. Crash must be eliminated.
Rok-Ko, need I remind you that Crash always finds a way to defeat us? Maybe he's just too good for us.
Enough excuses! You fine idiots need to come up with one good plan! Or else... Oh, why do we make decisions?
There must be something we can come up with. Say, Doctor, haven't you been tinkering with some kind of secret weapon in your laboratory?
I don't know what you're talking about, Entropy.
Dr. Cortex, I think he's referring to this super secret weapon you've been laboring over day and night since the last time Crash defeated you.
Enough bickering! Do we have a plan? Well, in my scientific endeavors, I've been able to create a genetically advanced super weapon of unbelievable strength. But the power source is the final missing portion. Yes, the elementals. Right, the elementals, that's it. If we reach their destructive energy could create enough power to bring my secret weapon to life, we have a weapon capable of crushing mountains, demolishing entire cities, and wiping Crash Bandicoot off the face of the earth forever. Get ready to face my wrath, Crash Bandicoot.
As you can see there, everyone has new voice everyone has new voice actors except for, I believe, Crash, or for Cortex and Uka. I believe they don't have any new voice actors.
What's happening? No, it cannot be. Oh, no.
What's going on? Oh no! Crash! Look out!
Is everyone all right? It appears that my evil twin brother Uka Uka is up to his no-good tricks again. I must find out what he is planning. I'll meet up with you later.
And Uka seems to have the same, or Aku seems to have the same voice actor as well. I'm not sure about Uka though.
Hello, my evil brother. You have Just as I feared, Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex have freed a group of destructive masks known as the Elementals. We must find a way to stop them before they destroy the Earth and all of its inhabitants. The only way to stop the Elementals' destructive nature is to imprison them with the use of ancient crystals. Each elemental can be returned back to their hibernation state with a total of 5 crystals. We must act quickly. Coco, what is the status of the new portal chamber you've been working on?
It's almost finished. A few little adjustments here and there, and it'll be ready to go.
Well done, Coco. This gives us the ideal opportunity to test it. We must hurry.
And if you notice, there was a picture of Tana up on the mantle, as well as a trophy that could be from CTR. I'm not 100% sure on that, though, because that was a spin-off game. This is a main series game. I'm not sure if because then the events of CTR do not count in the main series storyline, if that's what you want to call it.
Okay, all systems are ready and operational.
It's time we opened up the odds in our favor.
Alright, so you can kind of just tell how this story, or I guess the backstory to why this is going on. Oh crap. Well, yeah, this disc is I am playing the GameCube version of the game, and this disc is pretty old and well used. I guess you could call it. And the console that I'm using the Wii, usually doesn't have this much trouble reading the disc, and I should hopefully this won't be too much of a problem. But we'll see. And the cutscenes and all that was pretty much over anyway. It was just I was about to go into the warp room. I don't believe there was anything else I don't believe there was anything else to see, cutscene wise. So we shouldn't have to worry about that really. Let's see if that works. Alright, do apologize for this. I'll cut really quickly and see if this works. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so sorry about the issues, but anyway, so but yeah, like I said, you didn't miss anything. The only thing you may have missed was just at the start here, Cortex will talk to you and kind of tell you what he's doing, and then you'll see his new super weapon, whose name is Crunch. You can see his head here. Oh, okay, there we go.
Crash Bandicoot, my old nemesis. How the heck are you? Still gathering crystals? Old habits die hard, don't they? My days are being spent on something much more intriguing. Meet Crunch, my newest creation. This is the creature who keeps sabotaging your master plan? Ha! You gotta be kidding. I'll exterminate this field right in no time. Now, Crunch, your time with Crash will come soon enough. Isn't he brilliant? A testament to my true scientific genius. A real Bandicoot warrior. Unlike you, Crash. Oh well, we all make mistakes. Ta-ta for now.
Alright, so I'm glad you didn't miss that. Wasn't very important, but you know, at least you get to see Crunch. But you can see here, again, the warp chambers have themes, except they're based around the elemental masks instead of a time period or a portion of, or you know, like an environment. So this is Earth themed. You can see kind of jungle-ish. Earth themed because the elemental mask that we will be seeing now is the first one that you get to is the Earth Rok-Ko.
What are you looking at, fuzzhead? I'm Rok-Ko, the Earth Elemental. Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex woke me from my captive slumber, and now I'm free to pulverize whatever gets in my way. Oh, don't even think about collecting those crystals around me. I'm gonna bury you alive.
Alright, so you see, he is as he said, really, I kind of figured this was going to be this is what was gonna happen, but yeah, he is the Earth Elemental, so the first warp chamber is based around. While it did look jungle-ish there, it's supposed to be based around Earth. The levels that you will go to is not Earth themed. You know, there are different varieties to the levels. This Arctic Antics is, as you may have been able to guess, a snow themed level, and so yeah, you can see here nothing back here, but you can run back there if you want to. So the moves are just like Crash 3. You can crouch, you can jump, you can do a crouch jump, which doesn't quite work so well on the GameCube controller. Spin, slide, pretty much everything you can do in Crash 3 you can do in this game. This game uses a lot of I guess you could say assets from Crash 3. It's pretty much like Crash 3. It just depends on, you know, if you like Crash 3 or not. Not as good, not quite as good version of Crash 3, I guess you could say. Of course, it does have some elements from Crash 2, as you can see here with the penguins and the snow-themed level. But for the most part, it is based heavily around Crash 3 and the way that you went about doing the game in Crash 3. But anyway, as you can see here, so you can slide. It's a little bit easier to control than it was in Crash 2, which, of course, you know, they will improve little things like this. You know, being able to slide. You can slide out as you are going on the ice if you want to be careful. If you, let's see if I can do it here really quickly. And that's just the sliding out effect. Now the secret or death routes, the secret routes or death routes, whichever you want to call them, do return in this game. And you do want to be. There is one in this level. That's why I even brought it up. So you do want to be careful and pay attention to that. You know, make sure that you don't die until you get to it. It is towards the end of the level, and because this is the first level, it won't be too difficult, but it isn't quite as easy as some first levels are. This, as I said, it is not difficult by any stretch of the imagination, but as I said, also it is not quite as easy as some first levels in the game. I wouldn't say it's nearly as hard as Insanity Beach, though, for Crash 1. That's pretty bad, just having to go after that long line of boxes, but anyway. So as I said, I am playing on the GameCube version. The only differences between... I'm not familiar with the Xbox, the original Xbox version of this game, but I know one big difference between the GameCube and the PS2 versions is while during the loading screens, you can see Crash fall instead of it just being like a black screen with green text which says loading on it. Crash will actually fall on a purplish background. He will fall there for the duration of the loading screen, and then he'll go away once the loading time is over, and you'll be able to see him, or you'll be able to, you won't be able to do anything while he is falling, but it's just something, I guess, cool you can see, or whatever you want to call it. Let's see, I think I want to go on the death route first. Oh, no, okay. The death route, just like in Crash 3 and Crash 2, you can die while during the death route, and then come back and you'll still gain whatever gem was there. But I don't have to do that in this game, so I'll be able to show that off once I get to it. But you can see here, bonus rounds do make a return again, and they do kind of follow the level music for whichever level you're in, similar to the way that Crash 2 and 3 did it. Of course, you know, they sound almost like a remix of the Crash 3 theme, which I guess the Warp Room theme, which this game uses as well. They just use a remixed version of the Crash 3 Warp Room theme. So you can see the Death Route there, kind of dressed up in I guess winter, a scarf and a hat, a winter hat. that is something that you can. All of the death routes will have a picture like that on them, and I'll try to remember and show those off. You see here, 147 boxes, the most of any starting level in a Crash game, I believe. I don't believe any other Crash game has this many boxes in it, but you can't really count all of the. That's right, I forgot about that life box. Too busy pointing out the death route. You do want to be careful again here, as I said. You don't want to die. I don't believe if you die ahead of the death route, I believe just like with the Crash 2 and 3, it will still be there, but I'm not 100% sure, so you do want to be careful. It just, it pays to be careful, so you don't want to, and you don't want to lose, you don't want to lose and have to do this entire level over again for no reason. Only reason why I'm sliding is because it's just a little bit faster than Crash's normal runs. That's why I am sliding like that. But the woolly mammoths, as you can see, if you shoot them with the bazooka, you can actually gain a life from them. I don't have the bazooka this early on in the game, but if I was to come back here, and I may during the wrap video, I'm not 100% sure, but you can actually see them as you said, you shoot them and they will give you a life. But this is pretty straight. Oh crap! This is pretty straightforward. You just get to the end, dodging all the hazards, and there are a lot of those. And then we get the blue gem, just like with Crash 2. You get the blue gem at the start. Now, normally there would be boxes, wooden boxes that would be on top of nitro crates that would help you get up through here. But you can also just get up there by slide jumping. You cannot get up there just by using the normal jump. You have to use the slide jump. Of course, if you do get the double jump, you can get up there very easily. But since this is so early on in the game, we don't have the double jump, so we can't be able to use it. But again, using the slide jump works. You can get around there very easily, and that is actually a very good idea or strategy, whatever you want to call it. Just go ahead and get that out of the way now, and don't worry about having to come back to that level just to get a gem. There will be some instances where we have to, because of well, I guess none of the colored gems are on any gym path, so I don't believe we will actually have to miss any colored gems. If I'm pretty sure there may be some in the 6th warp room, which again takes from Crash 3. You have to have relics to open up the 6th warp room, but I don't remember, to be honest. And this is going to be the theme, I believe, every time I have to go into a loading screen, or at least coming back into the warp room. It's going to give me a lot more trouble than if I'm going into a level. I hope. I expected it. Every time I have to go into a loading screen, it's going to give me trouble like this. As I said, this disc is pretty scratched up. I've had it since, I want to say 2002, 2003, that around there. So it's about 12 to 13 years, or not 11 to 10 years. So it is pretty scratched up. So I do hope that I can do this, but I may not be able to even do the entire series or the entire game. This was the last Crash game that I was going to do, and I may just go on and do my next game, which would be Spyro, and I'm not 100% sure. As I said, I'll still try, I'll still try and do what I can, but I really don't know. Well, I apologize for having to cut, but what can I do? So I will see if this works, and if it doesn't, I'll just go ahead and cut until I get back into the warp room. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. You can see you throw the gems and the crystals, and then you do a jump there, and you can see that is the platinum time. Well, I'm not sure that may be the sapphire time, even though that does look like a platinum relic. I believe that is the sapphire time for that level. So you see here, Tornado Alley. This is a flying level, kind of like what the Bye Bye Blimps and Mad Bombers was in Crash 3. As I said, they do take a lot from that game. Uh, I'm not really sure, I guess they didn't want to come up with it, or they didn't want to. Universal, Eurocom, Traveler's Tales. I guess they didn't want to come up with a new game, and since they had exclusive rights to the Crash series after Naughty Dog let it go, I guess they wanted to, do whatever. So they just took things from older Crash games and did that. So if you can't hear what Coco says, it is kind of hard to hear. She's saying Crash shoot the generators down. It looks like Neo is using them to create the tornadoes. You can see here there are 6 of them that you have to take down. You can see there are just like in Bye Bye Blimps, Bye Bye Blimps and Mad Bombers. There will be enemy fighters that we have to shoot that will be shooting at us. What they are, however, are the bosses, Tiny, Dingo, Entropy, and Engine. We do not actually fight them in the entire game. They are only used for getting in our way on certain levels. We will race against them in a later level, and we will have to fly against them again in a later level as well. Actually, 2 later levels. So you do want to be careful about that. But anyway, so the controls are, you push up to go up, down to go down, right to go right, left to go left. The way you do a barrel roll is the 2 triggers. Right trigger to do a right barrel roll, left trigger to do a left barrel roll. See, you cannot actually pull. Okay, I wasn't sure if you could actually pull that up. You can see how many boxes you have. You can see there in the bottom right of the screen how many of these tornado generators you have to take out. You do want to be careful of the enemy, of the enemy ships. What they will do is they can hit you from almost any angle except for directly in the rear. As long as they are even a bit on the screen, they can shoot at you. Of course, they are not quite as accurate unless they go right in front of you. As you can see, they will hit you at least a little bit. Now, aiming is actually a little bit more difficult than in previous games like this. And I guess all of this is left is just these health balloons. And you can hold down the A button to shoot. The B button does not appear to do anything, nor does the X button. So I figured that it may slow you down, but it doesn't. I have one more to get. Oh, okay, I guess that was the last box. Yeah, you do have to be careful. Unlike in Crash, unlike in Bye Bye Blimps and Mad Bombers, if you shoot a balloon, you actually have to wait a few seconds before the balloon actually hits the ground before it will break and will actually count as a box. Usually with Bye Bye Blimps and Mad Bombers, all you have to do is just shoot down the balloon, wait, or I believe it was a second to a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds before the box would break, and it would count. Of course, you can shoot the box and the balloon at the same time, or just shoot the box by itself, and that would immediately do it. But you have to be careful in this particular level, because if you shoot down, if you're not careful and you just shoot whatever, and you shoot the balloons and say, oh, okay, well, if this is just like Crash 3, I won't have to worry about the boxes, but you can hear them when they break, so that is a good indication of when you need to start shooting the generators. But you do need to be careful. Either way, you still want to be careful and just pay attention to what you shoot. Of course, the accuracy isn't quite like it was in Crash 3, so it's kind of hard to hit the boxes unless you're directly in line. Like if you're flying straight on into them, that's about the only way you can get them to be able to hit the box. So it's actually just easier to hit the balloons and then fly on. If you noticed with the enemies, with the other enemy, I guess, aircraft, you can actually gain 1 fruit from them, unlike in Crash 3, when you shot down the enemy biplanes, you wouldn't get any 1 fruit for them. Well, in this game, you do get 1 fruit for them, and just like in all the other Crash games, 101 fruit equals 1 life, as you may have seen in Arctic Antics, and maybe even this one, I'm not sure. The life cap is 99 as well, so you know, how you decide to get the lives is, of course, at your own pace, so it doesn't really matter, you know, how you get, when you get the lives, or at what pace, or whatever you. It's totally up to you, you know, however, you know, player preference again, but anyway. So I'll just do what I did, you know, like I said last time. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and cut, and then I'll just go into the next level instead of waiting and then coming back into the warp room. I will just immediately go into the next level just to save on time having to do this. You know, you'll see when I jump back out and have to do the, you know, throw the. I guess you may not if it keeps doing this. Yeah, so do apologize again. I'll give it one more time, one more try. I don't want to keep cutting the video up, but I will if I have to. One more try. Maybe. There we go, okay. But I know going into level 3 is going to give me trouble, so bamboozled. This is a new type of
You want a piece of me, Bandicoot? Do ya? Wuss.
oh, that's right, I forgot the masks do talk, just like in Crash 3 when the bosses would talk to you between the levels. The masks will do that as well. All of the masks will do that, and then once you get into the 5th warp room, Cortex and Uka will talk to you as well. I'm not sure if it's both of them or just Cortex. Oh yeah, this is the Altosphere. This is a ball that you roll around in. It does not provide you protection. So if you do die, you die immediately. It's just like taking damage from a regular box, or you know, just from a regular thing. Now there are a couple ways you can die. You can fall down the hole. You know, you can fall off these platforms, or fall down any hole that you see. If you do that, you do die. Then there are nitros. If you roll into the nitros, you do die as well. So you do want to be careful and watch out for that. You cannot slow yourself down, but you can speed yourself up at the cost of one fruit a second, I believe. If you hold the A button down, and then you can go really fast, which will help you get up hills like that, or just, you know, to speed through a level for a relic. If you're good enough at the level, that will help you out. But again, it is at the cost of one fruit. If you do not have any 1 fruit, you will not be able to boost. So you do have to kind of time it on where you get the 1 fruit, you know, how much 1 fruit you do have before you boost. Like now, you know, I could go for quite a while boosting, but if I continue to go on and get a life, you know, that will obviously waste. That will cut down the 1 fruit that I can use. And I don't. Yeah. So and there are multiple paths here as well. So you have to look out for those, just for extra boxes. And there will be a couple routes that you can take that will be dangerous, but they will be actually a lot faster. So if you are good at taking those routes, you can actually make quite a bit of time, and that will make going after the platinum relics a lot easier, or even gold relics a lot easier. And I'm actually mistaken. I was thinking about the controls for the Game Boy Advance game, Crash Bandicoot Entranced, which has the Altosphere in it as well. And in that game, if you press down the A button, you can actually gain a boost. In this game, you don't. You can actually move pretty fast on your own. It doesn't take, you know, the acceleration. It doesn't take quite a lot of rolling to get you going at top speed. It's almost, you know, it's not quite as out of control as if you just barely tap the control stick. You get going, but you don't have to go very long. And this is where the shortcut would be if you wanted to take it. It would take you right to the exit of the level, the end portal or end pad or whatever you want to call it. And you wouldn't have to go through all of this, which is actually a lot slower. But because this is okay, well I guess not. This appears to be faster than taking that route. Maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, but this is littered with nitros. You know, you could take this. I guess this is a little bit faster, isn't it? And it would take you right to it instead of having to drop down there. But that other has time boxes which you can use to your advantage. So you know, it's kind of, if you can make time on the shortcut, you can use that. But if you can't, then you definitely want to stay on the regular route so that you can get the few time boxes that are there. This game, like with Crash 3, is not littered with time boxes, but there are more time boxes than in Crash 3, so it makes going after the relics a little bit easier, but that also gave the developers of the game more leeway to make the times a little bit shorter for a lot of the relics, like the gold relics and the platinum relics. Sapphires are still pretty easy to get. You can get most of the sapphires, if not all of them, without using the crash dash move. But you know, for the gold and the platinums, definitely the platinums, you need the crash dash move, and you need to be able to get through the level with everything just right, you know, just perfect, just like with Crash 3. But the platinum relics seem to be a little bit easier to get in this game. For whatever reason, I'm not 100% sure, but I will talk about that once I go after the relics. But anyway, so as you can see here, level 4, Wizards and Lizards. This is a medieval-themed level where you are inside of a castle. I don't believe it's Cortex's castle. It could be, though. If we'll look back, if we look around in here, you can see you will see letter N's on different, and you'll see stained glass portraits of, I believe, Cortex and maybe Tiny. I'm not sure. I don't think you'll see Tiny, but you will see Cortex. And you will see some of the old boss characters who just kind of get pushed to the side and act as different enemies. Well, not in this level. I'm thinking about another Altosphere level later on in the game. Let's see. Is it gonna work? There we go. Okay. So you can see the N on the Knight's shield there. You cannot get past the shield. I don't believe you can. Well, right now anyway, you can't jump over him. You may be able to double jump over him. You may even be able to slide. Yeah, I think you can slide jump over him right there. But all you have to do is just what the? Oh wow! And there's a stinking thing here. A death route. Well, that sucks. Well, I guess I'll come back for this one because I don't really want to I don't want to go back through here. I don't even see how I got hit by. Oh, I guess because it doesn't immediately die when the wizard dies, like in Crash 3. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Crash 3 when I was going through there. You can see the stained glass window of Cortex. I don't believe Tiny has a stained glass window, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think so, though. You see 129 boxes. This game actually has a lot of oh, there's a box up there. Yeah, you do have to be careful of that because they will stick the boxes up above areas like this. There we go. If I'd had the double jump, I could have made it. But anyway, yeah, this game has quite the boxes, the level boxes that you need. The amount of boxes that you need per level is actually quite a lot. I think there may be a handful of levels that don't have over 100 boxes, but that's pretty rare, to be honest. It's very few and far between. Most levels have 100 or well over 100, as we've already seen. The only exceptions were, I think... Oh, crap, really? Crap, yeah. All of these bonus rounds will have some sort of gimmick to them. And you still have to watch all the one fruit disappear, just like in the other games. All the bonus rounds will have a puzzle that you have to do, and we've already seen a couple puzzles. This, I guess you really couldn't call it a puzzle, but I guess the big puzzle would be at the end of the level, and maybe having to deal with the nitros, but I don't think so. That's not a big enough puzzle. You know, that's something that you had to do. Well, I guess you didn't really encounter nitros until quite late in Crash 3. I think it might have been Tomb Waiter, maybe, or Sphinxinator, levels 20 and 16 respectively. Yeah, so maybe that's not, you know, this is definitely a lot earlier than that, but still, you know, that's only 2 nitros. You can easily hop over both. See, make sure I'm not missing anything. That would really stink. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the ones. I wasn't sure if there was a third nitro there or not, but anyway, you can see at the back of Crash's pants. You can actually see he's wearing a. Well, I guess he's not wearing a belt, but you can see the back pockets and the tag on the back of his jeans. Something that you couldn't see in previous Crash games. And you can see here we get chased by a dragon. The dragon will not destroy all of the boxes like in previous Crash games, so you do have to be careful. And he will. He's kind of like the dinosaur more so than the polar bear. Well, I guess he's more like the polar bear. I'm not 100% sure, but you can see that he moves instead of following along a fixed path. So that's why he will not hit every single box. He will follow you more so than do anything else. So you do have to be careful while you are running. And just like in Crash 3, you do have the rest areas, and you can see there that nitro box that he didn't hit. So it just kind of tells you the boxes that he will and will not hit. And I do believe this is actually in Cortex's castle. You can see the rugs with in all over them, as well as I believe some other things. But of course, this is, he is sending out all of his minions to stop you. Of course, so you can't really say that just because this is okay, there we go. There's a picture tiny, not a stained glass window of tiny, but so yeah, that does work. That sucks. I was hoping it was like Crash 3, where if you came back at the beginning of the level, that it wouldn't matter. You can see the Komodo brothers and Engine as well in his portrait, or in the same art design or art style as Crash 2. See a skeleton there. I'll definitely come back when I'm doing the relics. I'll come back for the green gem. As I said, I didn't want to have to sit here through another session like this again. Especially, I didn't expect to die. Like I said, I expected the wizard's spell to disappear, just like it does in Crash 3. But the dinosaur section, the game isn't quite as smooth as Crash 3, especially during the chase sections, and that chase section in particular. You can definitely tell that it's not quite as smooth, and the controls aren't quite as responsive as as Crash 3. And I'm not sure if that has something to do with the way that the GameCube is. I'm not sure if that's just with the GameCube version or all the versions. I have played the PS2 version, but it's been quite a while, and I don't remember very much about it. Control-wise, all I remember, I've played the GameCube version a lot more, so I'm more familiar with the control setup for this game. And I know if you don't time your jumps just perfect during this dragon chase section, at least through the second chase section and the third chase section, you can actually end up dying, and falling through those holes and dying a lot more often than you would normally. So that is a bad, that's a bad thing. And because, like I said, and I'm not sure if this is just my controller or what, but the crouch jumping doesn't seem to work quite so well. So the slide jumping doesn't work as well, and it's not as quite a fluid motion as it is in Crash 2 and 3. So it's not something that you can use like in Crash 2 or 3 to get away from, like, jump over holes or get across something like the grass. It would slow you down. So you do have to be careful. If you decide to use it, of course, it just takes time getting used to. If you can, get the timing just right and everything, you'll definitely be able to use it. But if you can't, then it's not quite as useful as doing some other things. But anyway, so yeah, I'll definitely have to figure out a better system for this instead of sitting here talking, because I've had to figure how many minutes I've been having to do this, sitting here. Of course, I've been able to talk and explain different things about the game, but through those sections when I haven't been able to, like right now, I could probably just cut right now and come back during the warp room just to make sure that Rok-Ko doesn't talk going into level 5. I think he may, keeping with what Crash 3 did with their bosses. They would usually talk in the first level that you visited in their warp chamber, the third level that you visited in the warp chamber, and the last level that you visited in the warp chamber. With the exception of Engine, he would only do it. He would only talk to you twice during going through his levels, and I believe it was during the third and fifth level that you visited. I'm not 100% sure though. That could be the third or the second and fourth level. And he may only talk to you once, in the second time being during his boss fight, or right before his boss fight. I'm not 100% sure though. And Dingo may only talk to you twice during his level, and Tiny only does. So I guess it's only. What is that? I was thinking about Entropy. He may talk to you 3 times during his warp chamber, and Cortex will talk to you, I believe, 3 times during his warp chamber. But I think everyone else just talks to you twice, because Tiny does. I know Dingo does. Shoot, Dingo may only talk to you once during going through the levels, and then again when you go into his boss fight. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. We're sitting here rambling for no reason. Wasted about 2 minutes, so I will this will be the last try, and I'll just cut until I go back into the warp room. And that's just what I'll have to do. There we go. Of course. That's a shame, couldn't get that gem, but I'll as I said, I'll go back into it later and get it. I may
Oh, I'm gonna shake, rattle, and roll your Bandicoot butt.
I may decide to, of course, I may stick it in this video, or I may just wait until the relics. I'm not 100% sure. This is definitely not ideal circumstance. This will be the last try. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Okay, sorry about that. I'll see it. And of course, wouldn't you know it? As soon as I cut, all I had to take the disc out and put it back in one time. But anyway, so this is the compactor reactor. This is a first type of this type of level in the Crash series. You can see there we need the yellow gem to be able to get in there, so we can't get that particular gem right now. You can see here you're on a minecart. The controls are pretty simple. You push left on the control stick to lean left. You push right on the control stick to lean right. The only thing you have to worry about are the nitros on the sides of the track. Even that you have to lean to get out of their way for both. You know, no matter where the nitro crate is. You can see here the way that the camera moves and everything. It is a little disorientating, so you will sometimes come up on a nitro if you're not careful. And you also have to lean to get the boxes. But past that, you know, pretty easy. You can see these drill bits that come down. Cortex's portrait from, I believe that's Crash 2. You can see the lab assistants. Again, you know, they will be dressed up as different things. You know, like in Wizards and Lizards, the knight and the wizard outfits. See, there's white, or I guess these are dark blue lab assistants that have goggles on, and there will be some yellow ones, or not yellow ones, white ones that we will see later on in this same level that will do the same thing. You know, they'll throw these little explosives just like the lab assistants would in Crash 1 and 2. They would throw well, maybe it's only in Crash 1 that they would throw the vials that would explode. I don't remember if Crash 2 did it or not. It may have, though. I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember exactly. See here the lab assistants that shoots the toxic energy at you, and the hot meteorites will also hurt you as well. They will push you into, I guess, whatever Cortex does for the meteorites. I'll see if I can show it off again once I get to it. But it's kind of like it chews up the rock, or the meteorites that chews them up. That will also hurt you as well. So you want to be careful while going through there. And you can see here, this is the big puzzle for this. Hitting this, and I believe going onto that life, or trying to get that life without missing it, and trying to hit it. And I guess you could say this is a puzzle as well. There we go. That's probably the big puzzle, or one of the big puzzles. There's actually a lot of puzzles in this, in the bonus rounds. Instead of just one bonus round having one really hard puzzle, there's actually a lot of smaller, not quite so difficult, but unless you're paying attention, they can be a little bit difficult puzzles. And so you have to look out for those. You can see that they're not really pistons, but similar to what the pistons would do in Crash 2. Those will crush you. Unlike Crash 2 and 3, you cannot spin on a metal crate to stop yourself from jumping. So you do have to, if you are a fan of doing that, or if you're used to doing that, you do have to be careful. And the 2D sections are actually a little bit more, I wouldn't say realistic, a little bit harder, because you can actually move around instead of it being on a flat line while going through the 2D sections. You can actually move around similar to the way you can in the 3D sections. So you can actually miss stuff, such as one fruit or crystals or things like that. So you do have to be careful and pay attention to that, and you can actually overshoot and miss boxes, like those boxes on the two striped crates. I could have, if I was a little bit closer to the screen, I could have jumped and missed those boxes. So you do want to be careful. I believe even if you were up against the far wall, you could have jumped and missed the boxes as well. I'm not sure about the back wall. I do know if you were closer to the screen and the edge of the walkway, you could have jumped and missed the boxes. So you do want to be careful about that. We won't see it really too much early on, but as we go on, you'll see that more and more. the uh, the I guess the 2D sections and their problems. You know, there's not two 2D sections in the first warp room, or really even in the second warp room. It's usually the third warp room onward where we have more 3D sections. But there are a few in the second warp room as well. I think. Let me see. 1, 2, I guess. Yeah, so I guess 2. But anyway. So this will be my last try. If this doesn't work, I'll just go ahead and cut again. I don't want to waste too much time on trying to do this. But I really don't want to cut again. So I'll give this will be the last try. Okay, see you in a second. Okay, so welcome back. We're here, Rumble in the Rocks. This is the first Crunch boss fight. Crunch will be the main boss that we fight throughout the entire game.
Well, looks like the Bandicoot's been busy collecting crystals. I warned you, Bandicoot.
Finally, I get to wrap my fingers around your puny orange neck.
Except for the final boss fight, when if you couldn't guess, it will be Cortex. But now this boss fight the boss fights will take different I guess variations of different things in the game, or in the game. Like here is the Altosphere. Crunch is in an Altosphere as well, and the objective here is to get these two rocks to line up with your side. You can see blue means that I have one, orange means that Crunch has one, and if you can get all the rocks on your side, Aku will rain down a whole bunch of those rocks onto Crunch, and then he will lose a bit of health, and the amount of rocks increases each time. You can see here there's 3 now, and Crunch will actually go after you more in the top, and he'll go after you more and the rocks as well. Crunch's rocks will hurt you just like running into Crunch will. You can see it takes quite a bit of health, except the rocks that Crunch hits will cool off, and you won't have to worry about being hurt by them anymore. But your rocks will not, I guess, when you want to cool off or whatever. And if one of your rocks hits Crunch's rocks, your rock will just become a normal rock again. So you do have to pay attention to that, because you can see in the top right of the screen there is kind of a mini map. The green circle is you, the big orange circle is Crunch, and the normal rocks are the gray the gray circles are normal rocks, the blue circles are your rocks, and the orange rocks are Crunch's rocks. I guess they're more of a red than an orange, but anyway, so with 33 health, once you get low in health, you actually have to start taking it easy a little bit more, because Crunch will try to go after you a little bit more. As I said, as the level goes on, he will focus on you and the rocks more than he would have at first. So you do have to pay attention to that, but not an overly difficult boss fight. It's just the Altosphere controls are not the best, and so you do have to pay attention to that, and just be careful. But anyway, so you can move. Okay, that's right. There's the power-up, Sneak Shoes. To sneak along suspended nitro crates, hold the Z button while moving. So that's a new power-up that's only in this game. That's actually this is the only game that particular power-up is in. You don't see it anywhere else in the Crash series. So we don't get the Super Body Slam just yet. We will get that later on in the game as a secret power-up rather than a boss power-up. But yeah, that particular Crunch boss fight, it being the first boss fight, isn't really difficult. You know, it's as I said, the Ultrasphere controls are kind of hard to handle. Going after the rocks and all that is kind of difficult. You know, especially being in a bowl. That just kind of aggravates the problem that you have with the Ultrasphere. But you know, at the end of the day, it's actually pretty easy. It's not that difficult at all. But anyway, so there is some, there is some dialogue that I would like to show off before going on and talking about the levels and the boss fight that we've already done. But doesn't seem like oh, there we go. Okay. I knew that was gonna happen. I was too hopeful and optimistic about it working, so the game was like, nope, I have to mess up for you. I hate to keep, you know, I hate to keep cutting, because usually as soon as I cut, all I have to do is just take the disc out and put it back in one more time, and then it'll read it. Of course, you know, it's just coincidence that it keeps doing that, but I don't have to keep cutting over it, you know, especially if all I have to do is just do it one more time. But as we've seen, you know, we can sit here for quite a while and it not work, and I don't want to waste all this time trying to do this for no reason. But this will be the final try. If it doesn't work, I will cut, and hopefully we won't miss any of the dialogue. That's kind of what I'm worried about. You know, there is some dialogue that will happen once you beat the boss, and I'm worried about missing it. And so that's why I'm sitting here just trying to hope that it works. But yes, I don't guess it's going to. So we'll just, you know, give it one more try, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just do my best not to miss it, and try to fill any gaps if there is any audio that I miss. Okay, so see you in a second. Okay, so thankfully it just sent me back here, so now I can, you know, access the dialogue whenever I want to.
Cortex! When are you and that super weapon of yours going to put an end to that interfering Bandicoot? You are beginning to test my patience! I'm working on it, Uka. Listen, Crash, you may have outsmarted Rok-Ko, but there are 3 more elemental masks where he came from. And just as luck would have it, they are all significantly more powerful. Ha! I have no doubt that the water elemental Wawa will make sure you never see the light of day. Yeah, the water boy and I are gonna take you out. Ooh, I'm gonna rip you limb from limb.
Okay, so that's the first warp room clear, and you can see the second warp room, rainy, fire, air, this snowing, but you can see that this last one, just I guess supposed to be in space. See the things on the gates that are blocking it, the electrical gates. You can see there this would be the pad where you go in the 6th warp room. But anyway, so now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the trivia for the levels that we've done. We'll start with Arctic Antics, Snow, items, Crystal, 2 gems, Clear and Blue, 146 boxes, enemies, Seal, Penguin, Humpback Whale, Skier, and then the Skier Lab Assistant. Arctic Antics is the first level in Crash Bandicoot throughout the Cortex. It takes place in an icy village in the South Pole filled with penguins and skiers. There is also mammoths that are located near the end of the level, which, if hit, give the player an extra life. The blue gem can be obtained in the death route. However, if you lose a life, you cannot go into the death route to get it. So, trivia, once the player has the fruit bazooka, they can shoot the mammoths at the sides and get extra lives. However, it is also possible to jump on certain mammoths, although it is risky as they are standing in icy water, which will cost the player a life if they fall in. This level, along with Turtle Woods from Crash Bandicoot 2, is the first level of the game to have a color gem, and that color gem being the blue gem. This is one of the most detailed levels of the game. So we'll go to Tornado Alley. Tornado Alley is the second level in Crash Bandicoot. At the Cortex, it is the first level in the game where it takes place in a remote rural area, farmland, via air camera. Crash must fly around in a glider and shoot down Cortex's machines that are causing tornadoes. If Crash flies into the tornadoes in the level, he will be spun around. Trivia: the cut glider level was the exact same as this, implying that Traveler's Tales was originally going to use that background instead of this one. So there was a cut level, which is similar to this one, I guess. The name of this level could be named after a place in the USA called Tornado Alley. So not a whole lot here. I did forget to do the level information, so Tornado Alley, 1 crystal, 1 gem, clear, 15 boxes, other planes, and then tornado generators are the enemies. For Bamboozled, which is Altisphere Jungle, crystal, 1 gem, clear, 125 boxes, dangerous edges, that's the only, and I guess nitro crates as well. Bamboozled is the 3rd level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. In this level, Crash rolls around in an Altisphere around a jungle-styled stage with bamboo platforms. The background has an Asian forest-style ambience. There are a lot of ruins that Crash rolls down while trying to navigate into Wumpa Fruit and avoid nitro crates. The name may be a pun on the Indian expression bamboozled. It is the first level in the series to use the Altisphere. You see what Crash is doing there. He messes with a Wumpa Fruit instead of bringing out his yo-yo, which is similar to what Crash would do in Crash 1. He would throw up a Wumpa Fruit in the air and it would land on him if you waited long enough. So for Crash, for Wizards and Lizards, Nightmare Castle, Chase, Crystal, 2 gems, 1 clear, 1 green, or 1 crystal, 2 gems, clear and green. 129 boxes. Enemies are Knight, Wizard, Bat, Dragon, and the Fire Pits. Wizards and Lizards is the 4th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. It takes place in the ruins of Cortex Castle and features lab assistants dressed as knights and a large mutated dragon that chase Crash down long corridors. There are also portraits of various past villains on the walls, including the Komodo Bros, Tiny Tiger, and Ninja. The death route in this level heads to the Green Gem. Trivia: this is the first level in the game where a object chases Crash. Not much trivia, but yeah, anyway. So we'll go to Compact Reactor. 1 crystal, 2 gems, both clear. 155 boxes. Drills. Enemies are drills. Vile throwing lab assistance drills. Drills that are coming from the top, drills that are coming from the sides, radioactive lab assistant flaming, meteorite, rotating gears, pillar, and the green lasers. Compact Reactor is the 5th level in Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex. The level is set in a nuclear reactor owned by Dr. Cortex, and first you ride a minecart through a series of caves. For the Death Route gem, you must first get the yellow gem from Gold Rush, which is a later level on in the game. Crash was originally going to use the Jeep in this level instead of a minecart. Proximity crates were originally going to appear in this level. Interestingly, every 5th level in the game, not counting boss or secret levels, has the same theme as this level factory. Sorry about that anyway. But yeah, the factory theme that was in the later portions of the Compactor Reactor. So for Rumble in the Rocks, the item you get is the Tiptoe, Crunch's Altisphere, and the Flame Rocks are the enemies. Rumble in the Rocks is the first boss fight in the Wrath of Cortex. After Crash has collected all the crystals from the Earth hub of Coco's VR hub system, Crash will scuffle with Crunch and the Earth elemental Rok-Ko. This fight seems to take place in a circle arena with what appears to be 4 arches that makes this battlefield seem similar to a compass. Crash's method of attack in this battle is via Altisphere, and Crunch's attack method is likewise, although covered in rocks rather than a transparent sphere. If Crash should best Rok-Ko and Crunch for the first time, he will win the ability to slow his walking down to get across future lines of unstable nitro crates. Trivia: this battle and other levels later on. The 4 boss levels that Crash may move around before collecting the tiptoe. Double jump, before collecting the tiptoe, double jump, death tornado, and crash dash. In the later level, Crash immediately gets the fruit bazooka as the level is linear and Crash stops moving after crunches its feet. Okay, so that's just saying that all the boss fight names, the things that I wasn't going to mention, you get to move around before actually acquiring the power up. But in the atmospheric pressure, which is the 4th boss fight, you immediately get the fruit bazooka. So, although even if Crash does collect the tiptoe power up anyway, Crash can still move around before the button is pressed. The name of this fight might have something to do with the fact that rocks are the method of attack. The spelling of the last words of the name Rocks is a pun on Rok-Ko's name, and the whole name is possible reference to the novel Rumble in the Bronx. Prior to this battle, Crash says, "Finally, I get to wrap my fingers around your puny orange neck." Crash Bandicoot does not have a neck. That's not much of a trivia, but anyway, so thanks for watching. Challenge of the video is how much time did I actually spend with the game disc can't be read, refer to the Nintendo manual. So thank you, again, thank you for watching. I apologize for all the problems. You can see, we'll try and we'll go into the second workroom in part 2. So until then, later, everyone.